Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Luba.
My name is Stryker.
And today we have an update call by your request with William, who just returned from Poland and agreed to do the update for you guys and for us as well. So it's going to be first time that we're going to speak with him after the trip. We don't know all the details and we're very, very curious.
Well, one thing I'll say, I know a little bit of the details, and the trip that William had planned for didn't go according to plan. Okay, so we'll give you a little bit of a rundown of the actual, the whole scenario. I'll put a link up here as well so you guys can check that out, of the original video, of the original interview that we did with William before he left. But Luba, maybe you want to just quickly fill them in on what was going on.
Yes, so originally William was planning to come to us as a client for the tour, and we were planning to go to different city, experience Ukraine, but unfortunately it didn't happen because of the war in Ukraine. But he still decided to use our service and try to take part in Zoom party. So he'd been invited. And there he met a lovely lady that was not speaking English very well, but she had a big desire, and she was like craving to speak with him and learn about him. And so they started communicating. Since April, they've been doing that. And in August 2022, he decided to go to Poland. This was the country where she was staying during the war, and meet with her. So we did an interview before, and now we're doing it after. So let's have a look and hear what's going on.
William, good to see you again. Welcome home from your trip over in Europe.
Thanks, guys. Glad to be here.
Tell a little bit first, before we realized what happened and why your trip was not really went as you planned at the beginning. Tell a little bit about the traveling part, first of all. So you were flying from USA to Poland. I know that you took like several flights. What was the restrictions? Because guys who are traveling always asking about anybody asking for the test, masks regime, and etc. So tell a little bit about travel experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So I had to take 4 flights to get to my lady's city. So that was from Florida to Chicago, Chicago to London, London to Warsaw, and then Warsaw to her city in southwest Poland. And the good news is that there were no COVID restrictions in place at all. No mask requirements and no pre-flight test requirements and no screening or testing at the other end. So the whole experience was just not impacted by COVID one way or the other. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you don't, don't. So
tell me, you had this plan and didn't go as according to plan. Why didn't your trip, not when you were going to go meet Oksana, why did it not go according to plan?
Well, it didn't go according to plan because I was budgeting up to 2 weeks of time with her. And once I got there, after a very short period of time, it became clear to me that two weeks was not going to cut it. And I'm saying that in a positive way. 2 weeks wasn't enough time. So I was able to extend my stay by an additional week. So I spent 3 weeks with her, and that's why it didn't go according to plan.
Yeah, okay. When I heard that, I thought, oh, right. Okay, everything's going well.
Right. It took some fancy footwork on my side to shuffle things around in my life, but the juice was worth the squeeze, as we say. It was absolutely a good move, and she was delighted. She was amazed that I would do that for her, for us. So it was a very positive move.
So, okay, so you were communicating for some time, and then you get there. Tell us a little bit about, I mean, you obviously would have had a little bit of anxiety, some excitement. You know, these things are normal. You're hoping it's going to be as good as, you know, what your mind had led you to believe that it was going to be. Take us through it. Like, what was it like? What was it like when you met her, basically?
Well, Stryker, you're absolutely right. There's competing emotions in play, aren't there? We had already agreed several times in our video chats together that, hey, we're going to give this our best shot, and we may or may not like each other as much in person as we do on the video chat. So let's go into it as grown-ups with mature adult thinking. So we'd already laid those ground rules. Well, once I got there, as soon as I rounded the corner to the meeting point where she was, I was immediately blown away by how much more lovely she was in person than on the video chat in terms of how she looked. She looked absolutely lovely. She clearly made an effort, and I hadn't even got out of the car. I'm just driving up. I'm thinking, wow, she's lovelier in person than the video shows. So that was a very pleasant surprise. Well, of course, we were both a little bit nervous at first, her more than me. So I felt it was incumbent upon me to assuage her nervousness and make her feel as comfortable as I could.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said to her, don't worry, no need to be nervous. We're going to be fine. This is great. We immediately got in the car and drove to a park so that we could go and get some ice cream, which was a thing we'd developed as we were building rapport on the video chat prior to me getting there. So it was like, hey, the first thing we're going to do is go and get some ice cream together. Right, let's do that. So we were already building history and rapport with each other based on things we'd joked about in our video chat. So we were off to a great start. And I should say that her daughter was with us as well. And that added a very nice dimension to things as well. So I'd already met her daughter on the video chat many times, but she was part of the equation. So we went to a park where her daughter could play on the swings and the roundabouts and things, and we could get ice cream. It went swimmingly well. I encouraged her to put her arm in mine, like you have referenced on several of your videos, and that was just perfect. It didn't take very long for that to graduate to holding hands. So we were off to a great start, and honestly, it just kept getting better and better from there. Every day just got better and better as we were able to look back on the prior day and have history together. Hey, wasn't it fun that we did this? Didn't we have a good time doing that?
So did you plan your trip? Like what activities did you do? Like, did you discuss with her what you're going to do, or it was all on you? Or like, so you had a car, did you drive to different places? Like how, so for 3 weeks, you obviously were doing different stuff almost every day. So how, like, I would say, how did you plan it? And the second one, what was the most memorable one that both of you enjoy the most? Except ice cream, of course.
Yeah, ice cream and chocolate are always contenders, Luba. But leaving that aside for the moment, I did decide to rent a car because the part of Poland that she was residing in did not have particularly good public transportation, and I did not want to be reliant on public transportation. I wanted to be able to move freely on my schedule, our schedule, and make things happen, take more of a leadership role. So I rented a small car, and let me go back. I rented a small car because prior to my departure, I'd spent a fair bit of time on TripAdvisor, looking at all the different things we could do in the area. So I'd identified several towns that we wanted to visit and several activities that I thought might be fun. I'd looked on TripAdvisor where they are and how much they cost and about how much time I might want to spend there. And I found that useful. And I printed some things out and took them with me. So I had some printouts for directions for each activity, should I need them. So I already knew that my lady likes to go on walks. So we had walks planned as well. So what I did was every other day, I would say, hey, I'd like to go to this city and look at this there, or let's drive to that city. They've got that there. And I would say I would take about 80% of the leadership role on that. I'm not going to, wasn't going to force her and her daughter into doing things they didn't want to do. But I would say things like, you know, today I'd like to go to this city. It supposedly has a lovely cathedral. We can go there. There's an old market square. We can walk around. It will be fun. And for 90 to 95% of the time, she would say, yes, my dear, that sounds lovely. Thank you. So we would go on little mini day trips from the hotel where I was staying out to different cities and spend a couple of hours walking around, stop for a coffee, maybe grab a bite to eat, and go and get an ice cream if at all possible, which is always a fun thing. Hey, here we are again, doing what we said we were going to do, getting ice cream. Woohoo!
The next trip is to Italy, I feel.
Say again?
So the next trip will be to Italy because they have a favorite ice cream.
They have gelato.
Gelato.
Yes, absolutely. And I have to say this for all the guys watching and listening, my diet went out the window.
Yeah, you told us you're on a diet before you leave.
All the guys who been on the tours, I remember how they were like preparing for the tour. They were like losing weight. They putting like they bought this new tight coat, and then in Ukraine they're like, Luba, what did you do to me? Like, look at my belly.
Yeah.
You know, one part of or one major part of your trip coming over to Europe, which is not just you, but any guy that's doing that or spending some significant time with a woman that he has been talking to. And while he's been talking to her prior to coming over, he's looking for red flags. And he's we call this part of the we call it part of the relationship, if we want to call it that, is looking for red flags. Because if there's no red flags in the initial part before you come over, the next part is to almost try and find red flags. You know, not overly look for them, but to be very, very aware that the woman that you're going to meet in person could inhibit red flags, you know, that you need to look out for. Because if you're going to have a relationship with this woman, you need to be aware of these things and you need to mitigate them correctly. So tell us about that. Like, tell us, you know, when you're with who, you know, you would have been looking for, you know, is everything okay? Is everything red flag? Is there anything red flags? Is everything, you know, as it seems? Tell us a little bit about that experience.
I think you told us about one before your trip. There was something about either restaurant or hotel or something that she kind of insisting. Remember? And then you checked?
Yeah, absolutely. So
right.
What had happened prior to my trip is I had to find somewhere to stay. My lady was working at a factory and they had given her a very small space and put a bunk bed in it for her and her daughter to live in. And she living in this very small space, not much bigger than a closet, and or the factory's break room. So that was her circumstance. And she said, you don't want to stay here. You need, where are you going to stay? So I need to find a hotel. And she said, oh, I can recommend a hotel for you. That was about 25 minutes away from the factory that she was living and working in. And she made this recommendation, and I checked it out, and it was a lovely tranquil spot and a very lovely hotel. Turns out it was a perfect recommendation with not even a hint of any red flags associated with it. I assume that's what you were referring to, Luba.
Yeah, that's
So,
right. Was there anything else?
Was there? Yeah.
So on the trip, obviously, this is something that consciously or subconsciously is a little bit in
the back of your mind?
In the back of your mind. Having taken the Heart Rocket course, which was very helpful and useful, I knew what to look for and what to identify, shall we say, as possible issues. Guys, let me tell you that there was absolutely no red flag whatsoever, and I wasn't surprised because of the rapport that had been built up prior to the trip. But the proof of the pudding is in the eating, right? So the whole trip, there was not a hint of any red flag agenda whatsoever. In fact, quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. She would want to make sure that I'm not spending too much money and not doing things that could be suspicious. For example, I'd been looking on TripAdvisor at restaurants and, hey, what about maybe we can go to this restaurant tomorrow night? And she would say, no, honey, that's an expensive restaurant. I don't need to go there. I'm just happy to be anywhere with you. It doesn't matter. Things like that. So, oh my gosh, what a refreshing change, certainly for me, relative to dating Western women. I can say that unreservedly.
I've also been through similar experiences as well, where it's like you almost feel a little bit strange that you're experiencing that, because in the West it's a little bit different. It's all about, like, well, for me anyway, and maybe also for you as well, it's like if you are with a woman, it's like fancy dinners, do fancy stuff, the best hotel that you're staying in, and stuff like that. But I've also had the same experience where you want to do something based on your experiences in the West of, that's how you show that you're interested, is by spending a lot of money and going to fancy restaurants. And you've got this beautiful woman there that's thin, that looks incredible, that's younger than you. They're saying, no, we don't need to do that. It's almost counterintuitive to us as a man who developed our dating lives and relationship lives through in the Western world. So it's refreshing, though. It resets you a little bit, doesn't it? It resets you.
Absolutely. Well said, Stryker. You summed it up so well. That's exactly right. It's an odd but refreshing and lovely feeling. So a couple of times I said, let's go to the local grocery store and buy some local meats and cheeses and sausages and stuff like that. And let's just have a picnic on the hotel room balcony. And instead
how did that go? Because I always say that's actually a pretty good test, is, if you say, okay, like, a good one is like, borsch is, it's like the traditional Ukrainian meal. Are you good at it? And they all think they're good at it. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But to me, I think it's not that difficult to make. That's just my views on that soupy dish.
I thought that you would say it's not tasty, but
no, it's okay. But whether it's borsch or whatever it is,
it's a shit test from the guy, right?
It's like we like to do a little. We need to throw out a few tests ourselves. How was she with that? Like, when you had, you provided the food, you paid for the food.
Well, two things. We'll come back to the borsch in a minute. But
great.
We went to the grocery store together and picked stuff out together, and there were certain items that she's like, no, that's too expensive, we're not getting that. But we jointly picked stuff out together, and that night at the in the hotel room, where I bought some local Polish vodka that I wanted to try, and some champagne for her, and we just had a lovely happy hour, basically.
Say no more.
On the balcony.
Say no. What you sold us on the vodka.
Yes, and so we had a lot of leftover food because we overbought. And the next night, I was saying, well, I think we might go and try this place for dinner. And she'd say, no, honey, we should eat the leftover food. We have leftover food there. We're not going to waste that. Let's snack on the balcony. And that's what we did. The complete opposite of what I'm used to from dating Western women. And it was lovely. It was lovely.
Yeah.
So back to borsch, right? So I had said to her, not for shit test purposes, but just
because you were
general
hungry.
curiosity.
You were simply hungry.
Yeah. Hey, let's make borscht one night. So she said yes. So in the factory's break room where she lives, she cooked borscht for me one night, and we ate the borscht, and it was very nice. I liked it.
Wow. You know, that's like, these stories are so good, you know, for guys to hear, you know, like we sort of live and breathe, you know, the matchmaking side of things with our clients, with ladies that they're dating. So we understand how real it can get, like really, really fast, you know. And for me, it actually took a while for me to kind of get my head around it, how fast it actually works. But because we said, like, quite often, you know, it's all around us. You know, a lot of guys think that, you know, all Ukrainian women are scammers. All they want to do is take your money. All they want to do is drain you of your resources. They want Gucci bags and handbags and shoes and all that sort of stuff. But if men could really understand, like, what is out there, you know, and how it can complement their lives, meeting a woman, you know, the same way that you have gone out and done it, you know, and how different it can be. But people get so stuck looking at these videos about scammers in Ukraine and all that sort of stuff. They think, they're all scammers. But, you know, listening to your story, I mean, there's no way that she could be a scammer, right? You know, there's no way that she could be that way inclined. Would you agree?
100%. There was absolutely no hint of it. In fact, quite the opposite.
Yeah.
Already given you a couple of examples of how she's thinking. No, we need to save money. No, that restaurant's too expensive.
I think that a lot of ladies, like, a little bit even change their vision of stuff because of now living in Europe and understanding how really expensive things are. Even myself, like here in Spain, like I see the difference in pricing, and like you kind of start thinking, like, if, for example, in Ukraine, like, it was not a problem to go out. Now you're thinking twice before you do that. And I think that especially like if she's working at the factory and making money that difficult way, she understands it much more and value that much more. So this is what's happening with a lot of Ukrainian ladies at the moment. And the guys thinking that, you know, the ladies, like some of the guys thinking that, oh, because of the war, the ladies ready to be with anybody, they're just looking for money. You know, Oksana is a great example that the ladies have their honor, and, you know, they still survive with a child. She can go and work and find a place to live and still be positive, still be beautiful, still take care of herself and her man. And this is a great example of traditional, you know, relationship, traditional roles in the relationship. And
but it's I think what it is, it's respect. Because if she respects the man, like, women will not be with men that they do not respect. You know, they may even be with men that they don't like, but they still respect. So if she respects the man, that she's gonna do the right thing. So if she, like, I mean, if we were to talk about scammers, which we hate talking about that stuff, scammers don't respect men and they just ask them for stuff outright or whatever. If a woman respects a man, she's gonna look at what his resources are and she's gonna use them sparingly. You know, she understands that they're important to him. He worked hard for those resources, and they're his, and she's willing to, you know, and she understands that she's been accepted to come and share in those resources for whatever period of time that may be, you know. So she understands it and she respects that. And I think that is something that if you were to attribute towards what is a high quality woman, I think that would be pretty close to the top.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. And to be clear, it was very obvious very early that my lady respected and respects me, and all the orbits around that. And the quid pro quo is that I really respect her. This is a strong lady who's facing a lot of adversity and is coming through with flying colors. Doesn't complain, never once moans, no negativity, and my life sucks and it's not fair and the world owes me. Quite the opposite end of the spectrum. So she really commands my respect. So that it's a two-way thing there, Stryker. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. That's just incredible, because it's, like, unfortunately a lot of women do, they blame their own misfortune circumstances, whether it's their problem or not, on other things around them. But like from what you've been telling us, during this call and prior to this call, is like she understands what the situation is and she's just getting on and she's getting it done, and it's I think it's great. I think
if anything, she's more picky about who she's going to choose for her future. You'd said just a moment ago, guys are concerned that because of the war and everything, women are almost desperate to get out, and they're going to either lower their standards or jump at anything because they need out so badly. For a quality woman like my woman, the pendulum swung the other way. She recognizes that she must be very sure about her choices. She's got to be very picky about what she's going to do for her future, because a wrong move now could prove to be catastrophic for her. So I think, at least as far as my lady is concerned, she's more picky and more discerning than she may have been before, because she has to choose correctly for her and her daughter.
Yeah.
William, I have a question for you. So is there any practical advices that you can give to the guys who are planning to do that or who are doing that at the moment, and practical in a way of maybe something that you wish you would do a bit different, a bit better, or now you know better, something maybe about your communication while you was still in America or while you was on a trip, how you keep that that communication, and what are the advices that you can give to the guys?
Yeah, absolutely, Luba. I do have some practical things for the guys to take into consideration. The first of which is, and by the way, I'm not on commission here, guys, but to sign up and get the Heart Rocket courses going, because there's lots of really good information on that isn't in the general videos that you'll want to have as part of your thinking and part of your planning. So that said, the first thing is build rapport on the video chat before your departure. Start building a history together. Talk about fun things that you might like to do, trying different coffees. Mine was the ice cream. Stops it feeling like a blind date and makes it more like feeling somebody that you already have got some rapport and some empathy with, and you know what they like and what they don't like, or some of it anyway, at least enough to take the initiative and go do something fun that you have agreed to do together prior to your arrival. And it also shows you're a man of your word. You're doing what you said you'd do when you said you'd do it, in the spirit in which the commitment was made on the video chat before your arrival. Also, before you go on your trip, listen for cues about what a good gift might be to take over for your lady and or your lady's children if they are with her. Now, you've done some great videos on this as it pertains to taking flowers or not taking flowers on a date. Query whether that's even practical for somebody who's displaced from their country and is living under who knows what circumstances in another country. You don't want to take a gift over that is going to be more of a burden to them than the benefit of receiving it. So look for cues up front on that and try and find a gift that makes sense.
If it is not a secret, what was the cue that she gave you? If it is not too private.
Yeah, I knew that they liked chocolate, her and her daughter. So they were interested in American chocolate, and I know that she likes mint chocolate, so I was sure to pick up some of that. But more importantly, I felt that getting some clothes for her daughter was very important, because they left Ukraine literally with what they could carry in their hands. And so I knew that they were short on clothes, and I knew that my lady was more concerned for her daughter than for herself, and therefore I went and found some clothes for her daughter and some t-shirts from my area of Florida, Florida t-shirts for the both of them. So we all had matching t-shirts together. So that's what I did, and oh my gosh, they were so well received. It like brought tears to her eyes that I would think to do that for her. So t-shirts, tops, pajamas for her daughter, Barbie pajamas, that a little girl would like.
Can I just add here, like for the guys listening as well, and you'll no doubt attest to this as well, is that the gift is not like, it can just be a gift. Like you can just go to the local shop and you can buy some candies or something like that, or some perfume going through duty free. But the gift is something that you give, like when you first meet, like almost when you first meet, like maybe you get back to the hotel or you get somewhere, and then you say, hey, look, I got some gifts for you. The gifts can be like a gift, like a nice gift. It can be a purse, a handbag, or whatever. Or it can be a little small indicator of who you are as a man, who you would be as a partner, a life partner for her. And the fact that you can give something to her that shows that you actually care. You say for her daughter, you understand that they've left Ukraine, the Ukraine is at war, they're going to need some things. These little cues for her, she's not looking at go, oh, that's a nice gift. She's going, wow, okay, so this man, maybe she thinks about it subconsciously. Maybe it's not even like in the front of her mind when she goes, this man would be a great man to take care of us. He's a great provider. But in her mind, these little things are adding up, So it's not just a bottle of perfume for her to smell nice, on a Saturday night or whatever. It's like something that's going to enhance her life and her daughter's life, because that's very important. And your guys' relationship. It's probably more important to her than you, of course. But the fact that you're thinking about her, the daughter and the mother, as the gift, it means a lot more than just a bottle of perfume. If that makes sense. You can use it in a way to show who you are, and I'm not saying that in a malicious way. I'm saying that, you thought about it, you actually thought about it, you thought, what can I do here? What can I do to make her life better?
100%. She was just blown away that I would do that, and that it, as you said, it wasn't just grabbing a quick bottle of perfume off the shelf at duty free at Heathrow Airport or Chicago Airport. It was practical and useful, and it showed that I'd thought through what her needs were. And it's
And when the people, I'm sorry, like when people care like that, I just have one example, like when one of our guys, he's actually living in Europe, he met a lady. It was funny, but he asked her, we didn't like talk about with this, but because he lived in Europe, he understand that. The first question that she said, do you and your son have bicycles? And she was like shocked, because like when people live in Europe now, they understand that if you don't have a car, you must have bicycle. And so this was like so caring of him, like by asking this question. So like guys like you and guys who really pay attention at details, guys who really taking care and paying attention on something that been told and been said, like this is so valuable. Like that's why you are successful. It's not just her who are like, she's a good woman, obviously, but it's you who deserve that, who also appreciate what you're getting, and you who picking up all this.
I think I'll put what Luba is saying into one into one easy to understand statement, which is that you know how to solve problems. And if you were to make a video, if we were to make a list of like 3 traits a man must have in order to have a woman that respects him, and I think up the top there, if it is not the number 1 reason, would be that his ability to solve problems, and giving a gift that solves a problem, solve the problem, So I think I think what you did is great. I think it's
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And by the way, guys, don't ask what gift would you like me to bring you. You've got to do this on your own. You've got to look and listen for the
Yes.
cues, right? So that would be a piece of advice.
Yeah.
And another piece of advice is get on TripAdvisor or whatever site you use,
Be prepared.
and get some ideas going before your trip, and print them out, have them with you just in case. The next piece of advice is talk with her before you leave about her schedule. How much time does she have to make available for you? Because you don't need a communication mismatch of expectations here. My lady said, well, I'm just not going to work while you're here. Of course, you've come all this way. I'm going to be with you. So we'd communicated that up front, but that may not be the case for your lady. Everybody's circumstances are different, right? But whatever it is, try and get a handle on it up front so you know how much time you need to be
Very.
You know,
spending.
we actually hear, well, I've heard a lot about that, you know, in the past. I mean, I don't think it's been an issue with, I can't think of any one time it's been an issue with any of our members. The guy that comes into town, she has to work till 6 o'clock at night. He gets to see her for a few hours and she's back at work in the morning. But if there was a little bit of communication before he came over, because you hear about it because it's bad. So, you know, the expectation that they were going to spend all day, every day together, but then that couldn't happen. So then that leads to, you know, a letdown in expectations is always going to lead to resentment. So then it leads to resentment because, you know, they didn't plan it together, you know?
That's right. Because some guys, they really don't, they do it when it's convenient for them. They're coming and then they get upset that the lady is not
Right.
available. And,
Yeah.
or like the guy, we have like 50-50. Some guys coming to Europe because the lady is already in Europe, and some guys are traveling to Europe and the lady is coming from Ukraine. So it's actually 50,
Right.
but you need to make sure that both of you are investing time in that and don't get upset, like, you know, if you didn't discuss that in advance.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. And the next thing is learn some basic phrases if you can before you go in Russian or Ukrainian. They really appreciate it that you make an effort, and in fact, it becomes a fun talking point to have her help you get better.
Yeah. Yeah, even if it's bad, even if your Russian is really, really bad and you didn't or whatever, she'll still say, you know, she'll still get in it. Yeah, it's
Bring a smile.
They love it. And I've noticed that too ever since I first went to it. Even if you try and say it, they like it.
Absolutely. And so be ready to help them with their English in a supportive way, and be ready to give a bit of Russian or Ukrainian your best shot, and know that you're probably going to butcher it, but it's okay because you can laugh about it and ask for help. So I would definitely do that. Check your travel adapters and voltage converters to make sure that you can plug into whatever country you're going and you're not going to fry your equipment. Most modern equipment has 110 to 240 volt capability, but check before you go and make sure you've got an adapter from your country.
And the plugs, we talk about this in the course, that the plugs are different in Europe and in the USA.
Yeah, so those are all things before you go. All right, I do have a couple of pointers for the guys about when you get there. I was really torn about whether I should rush to meet her as soon as I got there, 9 o'clock at night after my 4 flights, or whether I should try and get a good night's sleep and meet her the next morning. Answer: the latter.
Yeah.
The old adage, you never get a second chance to make a good first impression. Get a good night's sleep beforehand and go to your first meeting in a way that works best for you.
Yeah.
Taking her into consideration, of course, but you know, don't rush. Make sure everything's right and you're good to go.
Yeah, 100% agree. When you've been on a plane for X amount of, I mean, it was terrible for me coming from New Zealand because obviously New Zealand is like 400 hours away from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
How I met you.
It was always very difficult, and you've kind of slept in your clothes on a plane for 2 days, and you've eaten terrible food, and you're all greasy and horrible. No matter how much you try and use that, the bathroom, you're just not yourself. So 100% agree. Go home, have a sleep, get up in the morning, have a shave, have a shower, and meet her for that one good impression.
But it's only for the first meeting. Like when you come second time, she will not
Yeah, it
let
doesn't
you.
matter.
No, it matters.
It doesn't matter.
It matters. It matters. She will just be so
Doesn't
excited
Yeah.
to see you.
And be on time for your first meeting. Do not keep her waiting.
Yeah.
She may not follow this rule, but the guys should definitely.
Yeah. Another thing, yes, Waze and Google Maps work in Europe. You can use your GPS there. So if you're driving and you're like, how am I going to get to where she is? Yes, you can use Waze.
Yeah.
And you know what I want to add here? I think it's going to be useful. So there is an app called Maps.me. So I think Waze as well do offline maps, right? You can upload the map of the country that you're going. So the app called Maps.me, you can upload, for example, Poland, Spain, any country you need. Better to do it in advance, because recently we've been driving in a different country that for some reason our Spanish numbers were not working. So this app can do offline in case of emergency, your phone is not working, or you just arrived and you didn't get the SIM card. So this is useful to use. Maps.me.
Yeah, definitely. Couple more points. Because she is displaced, her ability to do things for you, to show you that she is a good woman, are more limited than if she was at home. So when she does do something nice for you, however small it is, really be appreciative of that, because it was probably harder for her to do that little thing for you, or big thing for you, whatever it is, harder for her to do that for you than when she was at home. So look for the little things and show your appreciation. She's trying to telegraph to you that she's thoughtful and she cares enough to do X or Y or Z. And so be sure to recognize it.
It's interesting. We were just talking before, actually, how, to do things for Luba, in Spain is obviously it's a lot difficult than it is in Ukraine. In Ukraine, she can do anything, pick up her phone, message, whatever, call someone, and it all happens. Here, it is an effort, and you really, I experienced it when I first went to Ukraine. Luba's experiencing it here, and it's, I guess it's, I don't know if you necessarily call it culture shock, but that might be part of it as well. But it's also just not having the resources and the support of friends, family, just living in a certain city that you can just organize something straight away, so she's experiencing that as well. And I think what you say is solid. It's, to do something this big takes this much effort, whereas it would normally take this much effort in her own country.
Yeah, absolutely. So I felt it was important to acknowledge those, all the little things she did. And the last point I want to perhaps leave with you is this. Build on the rapport that you established over video chat, but also start creating rapport and building your history together as soon as you can. But don't push it, don't rush it. Let things evolve naturally, but create opportunities where you can build rapport and history together, so that when you see her tomorrow, you can look back on what you did today and say, oh, that was a really fun thing that we did. That was really cool. I hope we can do more of that kind of stuff together, right? And start creating your history of you two together as soon as you can. But as I said, don't force it. If you've push too hard too early and force it, it comes across as, or could come across as, being a bit plastic. A bit unnatural.
Yeah.
So
great advice.
Look for opportunities to build history together, and go for it, guys. Take the lead and go for it, but in a manner that doesn't come across as forced or plastic, is the phrase I use.
Yeah, and if it's meant to be, if we want to use that sort of term, that something is meant to be, or something is going to go the distance, it should be natural. It would just naturally flow. If I guess if anybody finds themselves with a lot of resistance with a woman or in a relationship, probably isn't meant to be. It probably won't last that long anyway. But I mean, if it's flowing naturally, it feels good. I think that it's probably on the right track. So the question is, what next?
Aha. Well, my lady only ever saw Poland as an interim step for her, and she was applying to get into Canada, and her visa application was successful for her and her daughter. So her plan was to move to Canada.
It was before she met you, right?
Correct. Well, things were going so well between us, us being me, her, and her daughter, that I said, well, gosh, why go to Canada? Let's see if you can come to the United States. And because of this new special program, the parole program that the US government has put into place, we can apply for a fast track visa for her under the program, for her and her daughter to come to the United States. And that is what I am in the process of doing.
Okay, so
yeah, because I think that Canadian type of support for Ukrainians is different. Like in US, you actually need to know somebody. In Canada, you can apply without, I believe, but I might be wrong on that. Okay, wonderful. That is really very interesting. And, I had a goosebumps several times during our call. It's what?
Well,
it's not because of aircon.
It is pretty cold in here. But, we never know how these trips are going to go, and we do have pretty good success. Like, we don't talk about a lot about what happened with our clients, but we are pretty confident in stuff. And I was very, very confident that you were going to be okay.
I want to do the part 3, and then I will tell my emotions and my feelings as a matchmaker from the beginning to the end. Like, because we never hyping or it's a match, it's a success. Like, I want things to go naturally. I want, like, as you say, no plastic, no faking. I want people go smoothly or not smoothly because it's life. I want you to go through the whole process and then, share. And I hope that it will be fine. I saw a lot of your photos together. I really very, very excited when I see connection like that. You even look a little bit alike. Not
oh, I hope not. I hope not.
No, but it's good. Like, I mean,
no, I know what Luba means. Like, sometimes she says things. So but yeah, I also saw the photo, and when you sent me, I said they look so good together.
Yeah, so, it's like a couple that together for many years, and
yeah, no, it's great.
Spasibo, chuvak.
It's like mate.
Chubak. I don't know this word.
Yeah.
So look,
I'm surprised.
The reason I think is
word to hear from you.
We went into it with eyes open. We set good ground rules. We were realistic and adult and mature in our expectations, and we just went into it with a good attitude and some ground rules that we could both agree on, and it really, really helped. So thank you.
Wonderful. We're very happy, and that we're always there for you, here for you, and I enjoy your messages. Like, it's always long, like I read like a poem, and I enjoy that because it always gives me details. It feels like I was there in the same moment and I know what is going on. Thank you so much, because for us it's super valuable when people are keeping us updated. We want to know like everything that's happening with you, even about the vodka time and balcony. It's important. Like, we need to see to be able to help you to navigate like through some moments, like through some curves that can happen, and only by communicating with us we can help and advise you as early as possible. But you definitely doing a very good job, and we appreciate that you've done our course and you learn everything, and that you are so careful and attentive to details. So
and then also that you really wanted to do these videos as well, to give out the advice from your point of view. You know, I think it's great. I think, and you know, as I said, like I had a good friend of mine that he called me and he said, this video is incredible, what this client of yours was saying. So, you know, there's good information there because people, you know, they can have an idea and that idea can fester. And sometimes that idea in their mind is not the best idea, but you're out there, like, you know, you went out there and you did it and you're telling us exactly what it was like for you. Everybody's experience is going to be a little bit different, but, you know, it's what you've said is, you know, it gives a pretty good idea if you do it right what you can expect.
Yeah, I think that's right. And as I said to you in the last video, and to remind the guys watching this, I sat on the sidelines just watching and listening for quite some time. I was following Stryker before Heart Rocket, and things got even better with Heart Rocket. So a lot of thought and research and effort and energy was being expended prior to making any moves. And then once I decided to do it and signed up with you guys, it was absolutely a really, really smart move on my part. And I couldn't be happier that I did so. So guys, if you're thinking about this, book a consult call with them if you haven't done so already, and start to get real about it. And I wish everybody as good a journey as I've had. Obviously, as you said, not everybody's journey is the same. Everybody will be different, but by hanging with you guys, I believe that guys will be better positioned for success than if they don't. That's my 2 cents worth. If one guy can get one bit of help out of this, then I'll be pleased. Mission accomplished.
Thank you so much, William, for your advice, your time spent sharing your experiences. You know, and we wish you the best. But you know, of course, we're going to talk to you again very, very soon with some more updates. I think it'll be pretty good. Yeah, when you go through the next stage of it as well. So thank you so much for your time.
Definitely.
My pleasure, Luba. My pleasure, Stryker. Have a good day.
Guys, so this is a little or not little update from William, but we wanted to be very informative for you, as we know that from the first part, a lot of guys called us after that and say like, oh, we watched this video and this guy explained everything, and now I feel more confident, like I lived his experience. Now you know that it is real, what is actually happening, what are all pros and cons. And we hope that you will join us and we will be able to match you and make you even happier.
Yeah, there's a link in the description below if you want to book a call, or if you want to email us and ask any questions. We are here for you. So on that note, we'll catch you in the next one.
See you.